Kimberly McCarthy made dubious history when she became the 500th person to be executed in her state when she was given a lethal injection on June 26, 2013, and she marked the occasion with some rather surprising final words. McCarthy was convicted of the murder of her 71-year-old neighbor, retired college professor Dorothy Booth, in 1997. She was also suspected of being behind 2 other murders of elderly Texas women, but was never tried for those crimes. The occupational therapist was 52 at the time of her death, but always proclaimed her innocence. McCarthy consistently claimed she was framed for the murder and even successfully appealed her conviction in 2002, but was retried and placed back on death row later that year. Her execution, the 500th in modern Texas history, drew protests outside the prison in central Huntsville where she was executed, as some chanted "murderers," and one 68-year-old protester held a sign saying, "Execute justice, not people." It wasn't a specific protest in favor of McCarthy's innocence, but a protest against the death penalty, which studies show disproportionately affects Black people and others from ethnic minorities. On July 21, 1997, McCarthy allegedly phoned Booth to say she was heading over to borrow some sugar, although prosecutors say her real intent was to commit robbery. After arriving, McCarthy stabbed Booth 5 times with a butcher knife and used a candelabra to bear the pensioner, before cutting off her finger to steal her diamond-encrusted wedding ring. McCarthy stole Booth's purse, her Mercedes, and sold the diamond. She used Booth's credit cards at a liquor store and had possession of Booth's driving license card at the time of her arrest, and her DNA was found on the murder weapon. It took only a day for Booth to be caught and charged with murder. She was convicted the next year by a Dallas County jury before being sentenced to death on November 24, 1998. But she was twice given glimmers of hope as her execution was stayed by last-minute legal appeals. The first stay of execution was issued on January 29, 2013, only hours before she was set to be put to death. It was then set for April 3rd, before being pushed back again to June 26th. McCarthy's lawyers battled fiercely on the grounds that her trial had been marred by racial discrimination. Her lawyer, Maury Levin, said in a last-ditch appeal in late June that McCarthy's representation at trial had been inadequate and that the jury's composition was unfair, because the prosecution had used peremptory strikes to block prospective non-white jurors, resulting in a jury with only 1 non-white member. But the Texas Court of Criminals did not hear the appeal, and it was confirmed that McCarthy's execution was set to go ahead, which is when she summoned her surprising final words. "This is not a loss, this is a win," she said, a result of her deep Christian faith. "You know where I am going. I am going home to be with Jesus. Keep the faith. I love y'all. Thank you, Chaplain," she continued. McCarthy was the 8th person executed in Texas that year, after executing 15 in 2012. Since resuming capital punishment in 1982, Texas has executed more people than the next 6 most prolific states combined.